Good afternoon. Today is the 28th of May, and I'm going to give a brief update on the Nancy Guthrie case. Over the past week, several important developments have emerged in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. One of the most significant issues continues to be the handling of the DNA evidence. Authorities confirmed that multiple pieces of biological evidence are still being processed across several different laboratories. Delays in testings have become a major obstacle. A criminal defense attorney noted that unresolved DNA findings could complicate the timeline for identifying a suspect or confirming a lead. Investigators are also continuing to work through more than 50,000 tips submitted by the public. A retired Pima County detective stated that the suspect's name is likely already somewhere within the massive pool of information, but it will take time to sort through everything carefully. He also suggested that the abduction may have involved more than one person, possibly connected to a group known for targeting elderly victims. At the Guthrie home, new physical barriers have been installed due to repeated trespassing incidents. Chains, poles, pylons, and additional no trespassing signs were added to both the driveways and the entrances. Law enforcement has increased patrolling in the area, and several individuals have been arrested for approaching the property without permission. Meanwhile, investigators are reevaluating the motive behind the disappearance of Nancy. A former law enforcement officer publicly questioned whether money was ever really the primary motive. Despite the large reward and early assumptions about ransom, there has been no meaningful communication, no proof of life, no sustained negotiations. This has led some experts to believe that the motive may be personal rather than financial. Sheriff Chris Nanos has emphasized that the case is progressing, but it may take longer than expected to solve. He confirmed that no suspects have been named, but investigators are continuing to follow every lead and every piece of evidence as they work towards answers. For Nancy's family, the past week has brought a difficult mix of hope, fear, and exhaustion. The delays in the DNA testing are especially painful, knowing that answers may be hidden in evidence that has yet to be fully analyzed. Each day without clarity weighs heavily on them, and the uncertainty surrounding the motive only deepens their emotional strain. The installation of new barriers at the family home is another reminder of how overwhelming and how the public has reacted to this. The constant presence of strangers, curiosity seekers, and trespassers has added stress to an already unbearable situation. The family has been forced to protect their privacy while pleading for the public's help in finding Nancy, which I find to be a little bit contradictory. They want help to find her, but they don't want to give out any information to help us find her. And two, all of these barriers and extra trespassing signs, that's not because people are walking on that property. And if they are, those are people that are going there to do maintenance, working on the pool and the landscapers, etc. All of the media that has been out there for the last month has maintained the right to sit on the public street, and they're getting arrested. So this whole case is becoming more about the people that are concerned and trying to keep Nancy's name out there and keep her case going and not let it turn into a cold case. And those are the individuals that seem to be getting penalized. I think they're putting too much attention into the media, the live streamers, the YouTubers, you name it, and not as much attention into finding who abducted Nancy. The possibility that the motive may not have been financial raises new emotional concerns for the family. If this was personal, then someone familiar with Nancy's life or someone close to her may have been involved. The thought alone to them is devastating. Through all of this, the family remains committed to finding Nancy. I don't see quite how they're committed to finding her because honestly, I haven't seen any family members do one thing, not even hanging up a flyer of a missing person to find Nancy, their mother. I realize that 2 of her children live out of state, but Annie and Tommaso, who have not come forward at all with any information to try to clear their names because of all the speculation that's surrounding them, all they have to do is come forward and say what basically happened. They arrived at the house. She was gone. They called the police. They took her home at a certain time. They just need to give a statement, one statement, and I guarantee you it would probably clear their name. But right now, everybody is speculating that it could possibly be them involved. So it's gotten very complex, and I'm sorry, but I do not believe that this is the public's fault. I think that they are trying to get us to help, but they're not, again, like I said, doing anything to help us to find her. If anything, they're fighting against us. The sheriff apparently is not speaking at all to the family. They're only dealing with the FBI. So if you go to the sheriff, he's going to tell you to contact the FBI. If you want to turn in a lead, the sheriff wants the lead, but he doesn't want it to go to the FBI until he sends it to the FBI. So my compassion for the family at this point is there because they have lost a loved one. They've lost their mother, and I understand that. The grief that they may be going through must be horrendous, but I also think they are making a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to some live streamers, a few people from the media that are still in the area. They may be sitting out in front of, not Nancy's house, but out in front, off of the roadway on the side, in a little chair with an umbrella to stay cool, because they're trying to report what's going on. They're trying to talk to people in the neighborhood, ask questions, and yet they're the ones that are getting dumped on. And to my understanding, there have now been arrests made, and I find that to be absolutely absurd. And that is my personal opinion. That is not coming from any media source. That is me, the owner of Vinyl Verdict. And I'm fed up with hearing what they're doing to some of these people that are really out there busting their asses. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody from the Guthrie family do one thing to help find her. Nothing. They have hidden. They stay behind their private property signs. They stay behind their security in New York. And as far as her son, I have no idea what Cameron's doing. He's very private. So that's my take on this. And honestly, I don't even think there's any real new developments that are going on. Yes, a little bit of DNA still needs to get tested. We don't have the information. The public keeps reporting new things that they have. Is it conspiracy theories? We don't know. It's just people have let this case run amok. And I will say that their opinions are changing every day. But a simple statement, a news conference, something from the family, it would be really nice. Some kind of an update. She has been missing for 117 days, and there's nothing new to report. Thank you, and I'm sorry for being upset, but I do not like what's happening with this. Thank you, and have a good day.